As a dungeon master, there's no need to be able to improv. You can read it straight from the book, or you can write it all down. Everything that you do can be prepped ahead of time, and you never have to worry about your players going off on the rails, because they're going to follow your lead. That would be a great statement if your players didn't throw everything that you do into the trash on a regular basis and go off on tangents that you had no idea to plan for. But let's talk about 5 ways to actually improv in your Dungeons & Dragons campaign that will help you succeed when it comes to your players doing what they want to do. The first technique to use when trying to improv on the table, and it's one that's used in improv classes, is yes and. Not yes but, yes and. The reason this is so important is when your characters are asking, or your players are asking, you should say, to do something different, something unusual, and you don't know how it's going to rule, yes and. The and can be something good, it can be something bad, it can be something in the middle or above and beyond or below. Your yes and allows you to preface. So if you're going to seduce the king to have him give you a crown, yes, you seduce the king. And to do that, you have to marry him, right? It's one of those things where it allows for hilarity at the table, but also allows your players to be creative. Now me, I'm on the more evil side of things, the wish gone awry. If you ask to do something on my table, yes, you can do that, and there's a consequence tied to it. That's just my table. The overall concept though, yes and. Yes, you can do that, and here's what happens, and here's the consequence. Try that at your table. It wonders on how that works. The second thing you can do to help improv at your table is embrace your mistakes. When you make a mistake, go with it, own it, and believe in it. A lot of times there's 2 ways to embrace your mistakes. Way number 1 is that you admit, hey, I made a mistake, and we retcon it. We go back, we fix the mistake, and we play from there. The other one is, that's what we roll with. I made the mistake, it led to this outcome, we're gonna stick with it. Whatever's the most fun for your table, that's what you embrace. Remember, this is a collaborative storytelling game. When we make mistakes, a lot of times there's amazing things that come from those mistakes. So we go with what's fun. We go with what enhances the fun, what enhances our table. So just remember that. Embrace your mistakes. Either retcon it now or roll with it and see where it takes you. The other thing you can do to help kind of embrace or help your improv on the table is setting boundaries. Knowing where that improv ends, knowing where the boundary lies of what is allowed at your table. A lot of this comes in session 0. We take session 0 and we say, hey, these are the things that we are not going to be doing, the actions that we're not going to be taking. Also, when we have that yes and, when someone pushes it too far, stopping for a second, taking a pause, and setting a boundary. Boundaries are one of those things, as a dungeon master, we talk a lot about things we don't want to talk about. It's also things that we don't want our players to do. There's nothing wrong with saying, hey, that's pushing the bounds of the rules a little too far. This is where I draw the lines. Now, a lot of people say this helps against improv, but it helps you as a dungeon master not have to keep coming up with greater and newer and bigger and better things, or constantly saying yes and. I love that concept, but having a boundary which the players know, hey, that's pushing things too far, allows you, the dungeon master, at least be able to cope when you've got players that like to think way outside the box. So just remember, setting a boundary just means, hey, that's a little bit too far as pushing the rules go, because that's what we're talking about here. Another way to help yourself as a dungeon master when it comes to improving your D&D games, play improv games. I'm not joking. Pick up board games that are improv-based games. Anything from Pictionary to Tell Who to Who's Who to the little game with the thing on the head where you have to act out or guess what other people are hollering at you. Improv games are wonderful things. You can go take improv acting classes, but there's a lot of games you can play as well. The thing is, you can play a lot of those games solo by putting yourself in situations or looking at the things you want to do in improv and rolling with that. Improv games are an amazing way for you to practice improving outside of Dungeons & Dragons. Trust me, if you think Brennan Lee Mulligan and Matt Mercer are as good at improving as they are just because they're natural at it, they've got a lot of practice and they took a lot of classes because they're trained actors. And one thing you train on is improv. Now, some of us have jobs such as sales jobs or presenting jobs or customer service jobs where we're getting used to talking to people, so we have the talking portion of the improv down. Now, we have to get the idea side of the improv down. So when you play your improv games, start playing games on your own or do the questionnaire. Think of a town in the middle of nowhere. What's the name? What's the people? What's the place? Where's the thing? What's the main thing? Right? That's part of improving, is coming up with stuff on the thing. You can play your own game. It's the DM improv game. Come up with an NPC. What's the name? What's their backstory? What's their motivation? What do they do? Where are they from? Right? Can you come up with it quickly? Improv games are both board games and the games you present to yourself, but they're wonders in how they'll help you. The fifth thing that you can actually do to help yourself in improv is situational thinking. Put yourself in situations. Kind of goes to the last point, but what we're talking about is specifically dungeon-oriented situations. Play out a scenario in your head. Put a bad guy on the table. What would your players do? Put a different bad guy on the table. What would your players do? Put them in a scenario. What would you do? When you start playing with these scenarios in your head, when you're driving around, when you're just walking, when you're doing your work at work, what would a dungeon master do in this scenario? It allows you to start thinking around the situation to when your players start going off the rails, you're covered. You understand how things would work in that scenario. The other situational games you play is think about the overarching person that the players are playing against, right? When I say that, when they're going up against the king, I say up against because the king is the person they're dealing with. They're the NPC. They're the ones you're having improv as. What could your players say or do, and how would the king respond? You'll never have the right thing. You'll never practice the right thing in the moment, and that is 100% okay. But what you are going to get is a series of things that help you think. The more you do this, the more you're willing to understand the motivations of a character, how they would react, how they would respond to what the players are doing. Because as the dungeon master, you have 4 minds that are combating against yours. And I don't mean in an adversarial way, but I mean 4 people are throwing ideas at you, and you're playing badminton like this as fast as you can, trying to hit those things back. So just keep that in mind. Put yourself in situations and practice coming up with the solutions. What would this NPC say? What would my shopkeeper do when the bard comes in and tries to get things for less, right? How does that go down? Do I allow them to roll? Do I not allow them to roll? What would the shopkeeper say? How many times have they asked for a discount? How many times has this shopkeeper actually given away? Does the shopkeeper even know them? Those are all the things that you think about in your head and then formulate a response to what's happening. That will allow you in the moment to be able to improv better. I'm not saying you'll always be right, but it helps you. So guys, that was 5 things to do to help your improv at the table. Remember something. Improving on a Dungeons & Dragons table is about responding to what the players are doing. So understanding how your world works, how the people work in your world and the things that motivate them allows you to say simply to yourself, how would I respond if this is what I wanted? How would I respond if this is where I was from and what my beliefs were? It allows you to do that faster because that's what most of it is. When it comes to monsters and improv and combat and stuff, you're going to find that to actually be the easiest thing that's out there. So guys, as always, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, pop the notification bell, watch another video, and share this video with someone that just needs a little bit of help when it comes to improv. And again, we thank you so much for helping us grow this channel, and we will see you again so soon. See you guys next time.